BoodleBobs Vera The Voracious Vacuum, written and read aloud by Jo Kemp.
Vera the Voracious Vacuum. This is a story all about Vera, and yes, she's a vacuum cleaner. Okay, look out, stand back, Vera's on a mission. That's the cry that went up as soon as the vroom sound was heard charging up the hall. Vera had a voracious is how you say it, a voracious appetite for cleaning, for hoovering everything up, meaning that nothing in her path was safe. "Oh, she can't get me," boasted Benny the bookworm from up on the ceiling. But, quick as a flash, out came an attachment and Benny got sucked up her hose. You can't do that," spluttered Boris the book, clutching his jacket, taking refuge in the back of the bookcase. Free Benny," he called, but Vera didn't hear him. She didn't hear anything, and had already gone in search of more things to devour. She vacuumed up Freddy the fly, who was just flying by, and she vacuumed up Carlos the cactus, and despite him being so prickly, didn't feel a thing. Things were getting so bad, a meeting was called under the stairs. "This has to stop," said Boris. "Already there's hardly any of us left." It's only a matter of time," chipped in Alice the alarm clock, because with Alice it was always just a matter of time. Fedora, the pretty pink flamingo, had an idea. "We must get Vera to go into the garden. Then we can shut her in the shed." But how? Fedora wouldn't say, but she did say they'd need Crankworth the cat, or at least his tail, to lure Vera into the garden. And so they made a plan. They'd invite Crankworth to chase the house mites into the garden, just as Vera came into the hall. You want me to do what?" said Crankworth. "We want you to chase the house mites into the garden," explained Fedora, "but only when I give you the word." Oh, I'm always happy to do that," grinned Crankworth wickedly, thinking of lunch. "I wonder if I can eat more than 6. Just as planned, Vera came into the hall and, just as planned, she saw Crankworth's long stripy tail. "I'll have that," she thought. "Lunch!" shouted Fedora right on cue, and up jumped the house mites who ran into the garden. Crankworth ran after them and Vera ran after Crankworth. But this is when the plan went wrong. Crankworth wasn't supposed to capture all the house mites, and Vera wasn't supposed to vacuum up Crankworth. It was a complete disaster, and what's more, Vera was still looking around for more things to hoover up. "Oh dear," whimpered Fedora as Vera got her in her sights, and was about to hoover poor Fedora up when Elsie stepped between them. "I bet you can't eat an elephant," she said. "Bet you I can," replied Vera. Queenie the quilt came over to watch and smiled at Elsie. "Off you go," she said, and winked, as Vera turned her power to max and started work. At first, Elsie didn't budge, but then, bit by bit, she started disappearing as Vera got bigger and bigger. Soon, Elsie was gone, and with Elsie now inside her, along with everyone else, Vera was even bigger than huge, and fell on her back, groaning. "Oh, please help me," she said. "My pleasure," replied Queenie, and removed her hat pin. Pop. Vera exploded, and out fell Benny, Freddy, Carlos, Crankworth, all of the house mites, and, last of all, Elsie. "I told you couldn't eat an elephant," said Elsie. Oh, but I did," corrected Vera. "But I promise never, ever again." The end.
Get more stories at BoodleBobs.com.